Hello, welcome back. In this video, we are going to see how to group the geometries in Houdini. Now first we'll take a geometry node. So here just I will click on tab and we can type for like geometry. So we can select the geometry and just left click here. And now this geometry node is empty. So if you want to go inside, just we need to double click on this. Now we'll take some test objects which is available in Houdini. So now we can press tab and we can search for test objects. For example, we can take this like the template body, and now we'll take another. Let's say we'll take a pig head and we'll take any other shader ball. Yeah. So now we have taken this geometries. So now see, suppose now at present the display flag has been set on this character node here. So as I explained in the earlier classes, now if you want to see this node, we have to click on this display flag. So if you click on this, now you can able to see this object. And if you click on this, we can able to see this object here. And now in case if you want to see all of this geometry at one time, so what we have to do is we need to take a merge node. So for example, if you want to take a merge node, so we can click on tab and we can search for the merge and we can take merge. And now we can connect all these geometries to this single merge node. So we can do one thing, just we can select everything and we can drag and here. Now we have to turn on the display flag for this merge here. So we can click on it. Now you can able to see all the object at same time. And now suppose if you want to transform this object, we can take a transform node. So for example, just like I can click on tab, so I can search for the transform. So you can take the transform. And now we can connect this to the mesh. And now we can set the display flag to this transform. And now you see, suppose if you use this translate, and now all the objects are moving at same time. But what we want is we want to move the individual objects according to our requirement. So in order to do that, we need to create a group nodes for each and every object here. So I will explain that. So in order to create a group nodes, just I will select this track here. And now I will create a group node for these three nodes. So for example, just now I will click on tab and search for group and select and click on connect this in between these objects here. And now I will set the display flag for this group node. Now you can see now it's showing the single one. So the group node has been connected to this geometry. And now we have to make some settings for this group node. So if you select this and we can select the name of this group, for example, it's select material geometry or something. And here we can select the group type. For time being, we will select the primitives. So suppose see if you select these points, now it will show the points. So it will be useful when we are making some dynamic animations or any other things. So later I will explain about these things. So for time being, I will set it to like primitives. And also if you select these edges, vertices, you can see all the groups here. So I will select to primitives and we can give the name here. Now we'll create another group for this geometry. So just I can take group and I can connect this. And also see, suppose if you want to see how many vertices, how many edges are there for this geometry node, you can middle mouse click on this node so that it will show the properties of that geometry here. You can see here, like you can see the points are 5,000 and the primitives are 5,400, vertices are 21,000. So for each and every node, if you click middle mouse button, it will show the properties of that object here. And also I will make the settings for this group. So select this, you can display flag. You can click on this display flag and here you can, let's say we'll call it as character and we will select this group and we can select on this and adjust, select this and we can name it as like pig. And now we'll go to the transform. So I will set this thing and now see if you select this transform and here you can see there is an option like group and you can click on this. Here you can see there are a lot of groups. Actually, we have created only the 3 groups, but it's showing other groups too. So what the thing is, see, and suppose if I middle mouse click on this node here, here you can see there are some other groups for this object here. And also if you select this character, we have see the body group, right arm, right foot, right leg. And suppose if you click on this pig and we have another like groups like pig eyes, pig face. So these are the groups which has been created defaultly for these nodes. And now what the thing is, we need to delete the groups which is defaultly for these objects here. So in order to do that, we have to take a node called group delete. So if you select this and if you select this group delete, and we need to connect in between this group which we have created and the object, and just we can select here. And now if you select this, and we need to type a star here so that it will delete all the groups. So see now for this, if you middle mouse button, there are groups like shell group, and now if you click on this, there are no groups here. See, and same thing we have to do for this remaining two objects. So just I need to take, we can copy paste, you can control C, control V, and we need to disconnect this, and just we can connect this, and just we can connect this, and also control V again, just I can disconnect, and I can connect this. And now you can see if you middle mouse click, then there are no groups for this thing. See. So now if you come to this transform here, so select this, and now here you can see there are only the two groups here. Now what the thing is, in case if you want to move the character, you can select the character, and if you select this translate, and see now we can able to move only the character. And suppose if you select this like material geo, and now if you use this translate, now we can move only the material geo. So actually we have selected the two things. So we need to deselect this character here so that we can able to move only the material. So now you can rotate, you can move this thing. And now what the thing is, suppose in case if you want to move this object individually, every time selecting these groups is also kind of time waste. And also we can create two other transforms so we can individually move these objects here. For example, see in this transform, let's say I have selected this material geo so that we can able to rotate and translate only the material geo. And now in case suppose if you want to move this character, instead of selecting the group name here, we can take another transform. So for example, I can take another transform, and just I can connect to here. And now in this group, I can select the name like pig, so that here we can only move this pig here. And if I take another transform, and now if you select this, and here we can select the character, so that we can move individually whenever we want to move any particular object. And what the thing is, in order to identify easily, we can give the name of this. So for example, what we have, so we have given the material. So for this, we can give material geo, let's say underscore like trans or something. It's up to you, whatever the name you can give, it's up, it's your comfort. So I can select this. I think this is like pig. So we can give the name for the pig. And for this, we can give the name to character. So now we can easily identify, and whatever the object we want to move, you can select that node and we can use this rotation or transform. And now I will explain about the another group types. So for example, what I will do is just I will create a test object. So let's say I will create test geometry big head. So select this. And now what we'll do is we will select this and we will click on this display flag. And now we will take a group node, and now we can connect this and just display flag. And see now here you can see the group type is primitives. So here we can select the points, edges, vertices. So for example, I will select the primitives. And now what the thing is, suppose if you want to create a group based on some selected faces, for example. So what the thing is, see here you can enable this base group. Here you can see already it has been defaultly enabled. Now what the thing is, so here you can see in the sidebar, and here there is an option called display primitive numbers. So if I click on this, so here you can see each and every face have a different numbers here. So what the thing is, based on these numbers, we can create a group. For example, suppose if I want to create a group based on this primitive, let's say what is this number like 2193. So for example, if I type 2193, and click on enter. Now see, it has been selected only this thing. So for example, if I want to select another face, for example, like 2192. So here you can give the space and like you can type 2192. Okay. So this is very useful when you're creating any dynamic options. Like sometimes if you want to add the effect for only that particular of group, so we can do this kind of groupings. So it is very important. So if you are making any destructions for the buildings or something, and I want to make a cracks over only that faces, so we can create the group for that faces and we can add the dynamic effects for this group here. I hope you understand. So later, detailedly, I will explain how to create the destructions or how to create the particles only in the particular region in which you have created the group here. And now what the thing is, suppose if you want to select some of the faces over here, instead of typing each and every number, so it will take time in order to type all these numbers. But instead of that, you can use this arrow here. So what the thing is, we need to select here, and just with this arrow we can select the faces and just we can press enter, so that whatever the faces we have selected, everything will be added into this group here. So this is a easy way to select the group. And now we'll see another type. So here you can see there is an option like keep in bounding regions. So for example, if I enable this one, okay, let's say we will disable for time being. And now here you can see this is an bounding box here. You can increase the size of this bounding box and you can create the center, like we can able to move this bounding box here. See? So what the thing is, wherever we place this bounding box, that area primitives has been selected. So if you want to create a group on this, you can create in this way. So see now when I select this, now it has been selected only the geometry. Now if I select this one, now the total faces has been selected. This is also very useful. Suppose in case if you want to create any particles only in that region, we can create this group node and we can specify only that the particles has to be created only in that region. And here also we have bounding type, like for example, if you select this sphere, so now the bounding shape has been changed to sphere here. And if you want to scale, you can scale, like we can use the scale option. And now here we have another option called bounding objects here, points and vertices only. So make sure what the thing is here, the group type has to be like points. So for example, see here, now if I select this option, what we can do is we can create the boundary by using any other objects. Like for example, see if I take any other test objects. So for example, if I create any shader ball here and click on here. And now what the thing is, for this group node, we have another input. So we can drag onto here. I will select here. Now you can see. So for example, if I scale this, if I make a scale, and if I move into like y-axis, so see now it has been selected the vertices only in the shape of where it has been overlapped the other object. If you select this one, like bounding objects, points and vertices only. In case if you select the sphere, it will defaultly create a sphere boundary. And if you select the box, it will create the box. And in case if you want to create a bounding box based on the shape of any object, we can select this thing. And also make sure here we have to select the group type to points or vertices. So now see it has been created. So whenever we add any effects to this group, so that effect will be added only to this region here. And now we'll see another way. So for example, now I will uncheck this, and if I select this one now, and also I will delete this. And now here we can go to this, say this is a normal. So here what I will do is in this group, I will select this to like primitives. And now what the thing is here in Z direction defaultly, it is 1. So what the thing is, see now, if I decrease this value, it is selecting the faces from the Z direction. That means like, for example, see if I type 1 here, and suppose if I type 0 here, and now see it is selecting the faces which has been facing towards the Y direction. So suppose if I select this into 1, that means like X, and if I put it to 0, now here it is selecting the faces which is facing towards the Z like X direction. See here now. So if you increase more, now means like we are increasing the angle. So if you increase the angle to 180 degrees, totally it will select. But in case if you want starting to be selected only in the specific axis, here we can give the direction. So that means like if I want only in the Z axis, so you can type 1, and here now starting, see it's starting with the only Z direction. So you can see properly when we create another object. So for example, see if I create any test object, rubber toy. So if I select this rubber toy, here you can see properly. So for example, if I connect this group node to here, and in this group node, let's say we'll select the primitives, and let's say now here you can see, for example, if I select this Y, and if I put it to 0, and also I don't want this like numbers, so I can disable here. So see now, okay, now you can see here it is selecting the faces only which is facing towards the Y direction in the starting. But if you increase more, now it will select everything, but starting it is selecting only the faces which is facing towards the Y direction. For example, if I put it to like 1, and now if I put it to 0, now see it is selecting only the faces which is facing towards the X direction. So in this way, literally we can give the animation for this, so that whatever the effects we give, slowly it will make an animation for that faces. And now next we can select the edges with specific angle. For example, if you uncheck this, and now if you enable this include edges, and also here the group type we have to put it to like edges here. And now see here we can set the angle of this. So what the thing is like the minimum and maximum angle of these edges. For example, suppose if I put it to like 30 or something. So now if I increase, now it will select the edges which is above the 47 angle. Now if you go on increase, now it will select the edges. And now next there is an option like minimum edge length. For this I will show on another object. So I will uncheck this now. So let's say I will take another object. So let's say I will take like grid here. So left click and just click on here. And I will decrease the number of rows. Let's say like 5 by 5 or something. Okay. And now what the thing is, just we will extend the length of some of the edges here. In order to do that, we can select this select node, and here we need to select the edges from here. So see here we can select the points, primitives like edges. So primitives are nothing but like faces and edges. So here I will select the edges and make sure you need to be in the select tool. So let's say we'll select this edge here, for example. And now what I will do is I will extrude this. So in order to extrude this, what we can do is we can select the tab and we can select the node called poly extrude. So we can select this poly extrude and we can extrude these edges here. So extrude this. Okay. And now let's test this. So I will take another group node. So just I will take another group node, select this, and just we will connect to this here. And now just I will disable this and we can put it to group type to edges. And here we can include these edges. We have to enable this. And now here we can enable this one now. Now I have to set the display flag. So now here you can see the minimum length is 0. So it has been selected everything. Now what the thing is, I want to select only the edges which is more than like 5 or something. Means like if you want to select only the longer edges. So for example, see if I go on increasing this. Now see, so minimum if I put it to 2.7, so it will select only the edges which matches to the 2.7 or more. If I go on decrease, now it is selecting the smaller edges too. So in this way we can select the edges by its length. And now we can select this maximum option. So suppose if I set it to like 5 or something, now it will select only the edges which is 5 and below. It will not select the edges which is above the 5. And see, because these units are more than 5, so that's why this edges has been not selected. And now if you select this one, now it will select only the borders of this grid here. And now you suppose if you want to select it randomly, then here there is an option like keep random chances. Like if you enable this and if you disable this now you can use this seed so that randomly it will select the edges. So if you want to create any random particles or random effects, we can use this option. So by selecting this group here and percentage, like if you want to select only less number of percentage, we can use this percentage so that randomly it will select all the edges here. And also we can select the primitives, for example, and if you use see randomly it is selecting the primitives. And I will show another example. For example, if you create any other object, so let's say if I go here and I will go to the selection mode, and here if I create any sphere, so let's say I will create any sphere here. And now let's say suppose if you add any rows or columns here, and suppose let's say for example I will add a group node for this. So group node, and just you can select this and you can display flag. And now what the thing is here, suppose let's say if I select these primitives and let's say I will disable this and I will keep random selection. So you can increase the random here. And now what the thing is, randomly we can extrude these faces. So in order to extrude this, we can select this poly extrude. So poly extrude, and just we can use the distance. So see now we can extrude these faces. So in this way we can use these group nodes here. These are very important group nodes, so make sure you practice it well. So that's it for this grouping geometry, and I will see you in the next lesson.